The mother of all parliaments is preparing for the mother of all battles between a government promising Brexit at any cost and an opposition determined to stop them. And this afternoon, the Prime Minister left his country retreat Chequers to head back to Westminster with a new warning to Conservative MPs thinking of joining them. Vote against the government and you will be kicked out of the party. It's a threat aimed at former ministers like David Gauke, who earlier today said it would not stop him rebelling.
If it is the position now that defying a whip on a European vote is a matter that you lose the whip for the Conservative Party, then I think there's quite a lot of Conservative MPs who, over the recent months, would have lost the whip. But sometimes there is a point where you have to judge between your own personal interests and the national interest, and the national interest has to come first.
The showdown begins on Tuesday when MPs return to Parliament, where they could call an emergency debate, allowing them to take control of Commons business. If successful, from Wednesday onwards, MPs would attempt to delay Brexit by passing a new law compelling Boris Johnson to stop the UK leaving without a deal on Halloween. If they win, the bill would pass to the House of Lords, and Parliament could sit throughout next weekend to get it passed into law. But today the government suggested it could simply ignore it.
Let's see what the legislation says. You're asking me about a pig in a poke, and I will wait to see what legislation the opposition may try to bring forward. But we know what their intention is.
We're in constitutional times, but for a government to say we won't abide by legislation is impossible, surely.
We will see what the legislation says when it is put forward.
Labour's called that breathtaking and has also been condemned by several Conservative MPs.
If governments feel able to differentiate between bits of legislation that come forward as to whether or not they might accept it, I think that would be very worrying. And I hope it would understand that if Parliament passes legislation, the government has an obligation. But, of course, there are consequences in that whole situation.
But the government is instead pressing ahead. This week we'll see the first billboards warning you to get ready for the possible consequences of a no-deal Brexit, as Parliament gets ready to try and stop that happening altogether.